Now let's paint the eyes of our squid. So to paint the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and subdivide them a couple times, and we'll just start with the eye left. So I'll just divide it a few times just to get it smooth enough to get a nice clean image on there. And so what I want to do is be able to add the dot for the iris initially. So I'm going to start by choosing a drag dot stroke, and let's go ahead and get a nice sharp alpha, maybe this alpha 14, nice circular alpha, and then I'll choose whatever color I want the eye to be. So we can make it blue or green, whatever color that you want. And now when we go in, and let's turn off our Z-add, RGB's at 100, we can go ahead and drop that in. Now you see I'm able to now just move this around wherever I want it because I'm using the drag dot, but it's going to be the scale of my brush size. So I'm going to go ahead and take the focal shift down so we don't have any sort of softness. I'll actually take that maybe down to 80 or 90, okay, to eliminate a lot of that softness. And I can move that around, but if I want to scale it, I need to change the size of my brush. So one of the things that we want to add in this piece is kind of an interplay between this character and this character. So even though this guy's about to eat him, they've kind of made eye contact a little bit, and so we want the eyes to be in view, so maybe from this angle, and we want them to be looking at this fish. So we can kind of move our iris around wherever we want. So we get maybe something like that. Okay, if we want to, we can maybe move that over a little bit on the inside. On the other eye, we can do the same thing, subdivide that a couple of times, and then with the same color, we can come in and add that eye. And this eye is going to be, we want to be able to see it over here, and we also want it to be a bit smaller. You can see how that doesn't look quite right. That's because we've got the eye a little bit smaller over there. So what we want to do is dial our brush size down a bit, and a little bit more, and we can make these off size. We don't have to make these kind of match up perfectly with one another. And so you get the idea that this guy's looking right at that fish. Then we'll go back and get kind of a black. And let's dial our focal shift up a little bit more. And now we can come in and add the, if we go back to our eye left, add the pupil in there. So we can go ahead and add the pupil on that side, and then let's scale this down a bit. And we can add a pupil right in the center there. That one might be a little bit too small. Let's go maybe back up to 10. Okay. And if you want to, you can dial up the resolution of this a little bit more to get even a smoother look to those eyes. All right. And then you can do the same thing on the fish. So if we take the fish eye right and left, we can just use the black. Okay, so we're on the fish eye right. And we can come in here and add this fish eye. And what we want is to have this kind of looking at each other. But in this case, if we go at this kind of an angle, you can't really see that. So we want to maybe move this out a little bit more out to the side, so we can kind of see it. And you still get that sort of a feeling there that they're kind of looking at each other, even though he's kind of looking off to the side. Okay, just keeping in mind the composition that we have. I've moved that eye out a little bit. So just play around with this. If you want to add some more detail to the eye, you can come in with your paint and get kind of a lighter and darker green and kind of add some detail to that iris if you want to. I think it's going to look fine just like that. All right, so the next thing that we want to do once we've got the eyes painted is to paint the tongue, and we'll also add some detail to the lip, the bottom lip as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do that in the next lesson.